If I hadn't come to Prescott's, I probably would not have known half of the stuff I know now about nature and animals and plants. I wouldn't have half of the connections and friends I have.
After the lesson, for the next couple hours, I'd be walking down the hall and the teachers are looking around, what smells so good? You know, different, my coworkers, and I said, oh, that was Mary. We were frying up dandelion heads in 4th grade.
I think anyone that gets involved here eventually understands that they see themselves changing for the better because of what they set out to do, which is volunteer at Prescott.
My initial experience with the Naturalist in the Classroom program was last year when we had Mary come in and work with the different grade levels. Mary came in when I was a long-term sub in 4th grade, and she taught a lesson on dandelions. She gave everybody a paper bag, and we went out on the front lawn of the school, and she brought us over to a dandelion, one of hundreds of dandelions, and showed us the different parts of the dandelion, from the head to the stem to the leaves in particular. All the kids went around and picked dandelions and put them in their bag. Then we went inside where Mary had set up a sort of a burner that plugged into the outlet, and she put some oil in, so she was starting to heat up some oil on this little burner. She began making a batter. As she's cooking, she's talking to us about the different medicinal benefits of a dandelion, a little bit about the history, how dandelions weren't indigenous to this area and they were brought over when people emigrated to America. All these fascinating things that myself and the learners had never really thought about when we looked at dandelions. And she took off the heads, put them in the batter, and fried them up. And we ended up eating dandelion heads. And I loved it because there was one little boy in that class who didn't tend to get engaged with lessons very easily and never ate things. He was not a big appetite. And he kept coming up, and I was looking at Mary, I'm like, should I stop him after like 5 dandelion heads? How many are we allowed to eat? And I just thought it was so neat how he was able to be pulled into that lesson, and he interacted with her, and the way that she did it, the way that she taught while cooking and things like that. It just kept everybody really invested in what was happening. As a teacher, I felt like it helped me to be a better educator to my learners, having Mary as a resource in our room, and it gave us like talking points after the fact. And I would say it's an invaluable experience. I'm so thankful we get to have Mary again this year.
I was 2 years old and I was in polywogs, and I was not feeling it at first, but then I ended up really liking it and really taking a like to Prescott's, and I learned a lot here over the years.
And here she is, 15 years later, 2 to 15, almost 16.
I feel like it made me more confident, you know, talking to other people and making connections with other people. It made it easier for me. I have really bad social anxiety, so Prescott's really helped me when I'm in large groups of, you know, other kids with me.
I think too, because she started so young and came every summer for multiple weeks every summer in one of the winter camps, that it's kind of been like a home away from home for her. It's a safe place for her. I never worried, you know, when I was at work, I'd drop her off and I never had to worry about whether she was safe or happy, because I could see she was safe and happy. We'll leave her nameless, but there was one particular little girl last year that was crying in the morning and didn't want to stay, and so Sydney took her under her wing, and she really latched on to Sydney, so she was able to help those kids that were scared to be here when they're so little, you know. And I believe she's a camper here this year. I think when Sydney was volunteering a few weeks ago, she saw her, which was wonderful.
Ran up and hugged me.
Yeah. Gave her a big hug. So those are special connections, and I'm proud of her that she was able to, you know, as an LIT, be able to help those campers.
Gardening or not, I would say if you want to volunteer, come to Prescott, because there's something for everybody. If you love to garden, we have perennial gardens, we have the annual gardens, we have woods, we have sugar mapling in the winter, trails that get worked on and rock walls that need to be worked on. Coming here is almost like living a fantasy to a certain degree. You show up, it's a beautiful piece of property. You just like being here. It's quiet, like right now. we're not going, ooh, there's no truck backing up, there's no plane flying over. It's just, you know, a couple of like-minded spirits in the garden doing your things. I need a dose of nature and the environment. We all do. And it hasn't deepened it, it just makes me appreciate what I've always loved and what I could not live without. And one of the things I really like about Prescott is meeting all the people. The volunteers that have come and gone in the short time I've been here, some really interesting people. It's inspiring to hear the laughter of children far off in the background, and once in a while they come running through, and you know, it's like a big family. It's just a lot of fun, and you care about people. The leader of the pack for me is Ursula and John, and you know, I'd walk on hot coals for Ursula. Yeah, I really respect and admire them. I'm glad to be part of a tradition. This place makes me effusive, so I think Prescott's doing its thing perfectly, and the people in charge deserve the credit for the vision they've seen come to fruition. An amazing environmental education center. It's just, it's beautiful, it really is. It is beautiful to look at and to be in.